What's up, everybody? It's yours truly, Ricovibes, and welcome to Take 5. I got some special guests sitting around me in the building. Two of these guys are old. One is new.
It's seasoned.
They're veterans.
Veterans. They don't like the word old.
Welcome, King AP Sound, to Take 5, man.
Bless up, man.
I'm happy to have you guys, man. Let's go right back to the beginning because, living in New York back in the 80s and 90s, I don't know when you guys started, but I know I heard about you guys. So I guess my first question is to you, Jenks. When did you guys get started?
King AP first started, officially we got on the road the New Year's weekend, 1997.
You know specifically when?
Yeah, and the reason I know that is because I really started buying records like 1995.
Okay.
When I first moved to Atlanta. But I just was learning how to DJ. So basically I had some records and then a couple other guys back on the sound at that time. We didn't even have a sound really. Dude named Father Flam, Kasim, Big Up, and Soy. We all went to Georgia Tech together, so it's like he had an amp, he had a Carver amp. Right?
Oh, man. I've heard that name in a minute.
Yeah, he had a little Carver amp, and I had two flea market speakers I had got from Florida, the carpet joints with the little piezo tweeters in there.
Yeah.
Right, and then I had got some turntables from BrandSmart. You know what I'm saying? Some 1200s or whatever. And a little Gemini mixer. So, with that, we used to do a lot of college parties and stuff. So it was really just like hip hop really at first. But 1997, by that time, and I always when I tell this story, I always say it like this, like back in those times, because we was buying vinyl, it just took that long for you to get enough music to where you felt like you was comfortable playing out.
Yeah.
Hip hop was easy to get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as getting that old dancehall that was out of print and reggae music, like it just took us like a couple years of buying new records all the time and finding enough old records to where we was like, all right, we got enough now where I have so true and we can't go all the time.
Right.
So we got a date at Peacock with Prophecy. Got to big up Mandingo. That's the boss for Prophecy Sound. He gave us our first date with Supreme Sound.
Great memory.
Yeah, January.
I remember that.
No, he wasn't.
I was on the sound.
He wasn't on the sound. But the funny thing is that Randy was actually there that night that we played. I didn't know who he was. But I just remember like Supreme was there, and back then sound business was very competitive.
Yeah,
So as a new song, the man them start flinging some dub plate upon us, and Randy and this other dude was over there like I get him beer forward and beer mean mugging and all this other kind of stuff back at that time. But
were you King AP at that point?
Yeah, we were King AP.
Started off from King AP?
Yeah.
Why that name?
Well, first it was going to be Apocalypse.
Okay.
And so it was King Apocalypse, but that just felt like a lot to say. So I was like, well, we could just say King AP for short,
Gotcha.
Because, at that time, like one of my favorite sounds was King at Ease. So it was like, all right, well, we just say King AP, that rolls off the tongue. And we was kind of going back and forth, like, well, which one are we going to use? But
who were the members then?
at that time, it was me, it was Soy, Father Flam, and Andre.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just four of us, and we all went to Georgia Tech together. So that was the founding group that started King AP Sound. Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't remember the year because I don't have a memory like yours. But I came here to play for Terrence. And I came up to Georgia Tech radio station.
Yeah.
And
we
I
had
think you two. Might have been you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to pass through the.
That's how Randy and I. That's how we got cool. Because we used to play on a song called Heritage, and I think it was right around the same time, probably like '96 is when we got the show at Georgia Tech. So by the time we started playing out and we started to meet other sound members and stuff, other sound people and stuff, we met Randy and we met Mackie. That's who we used to play with before. And then they used to just come down pretty often. So yeah, by the time you passed through, he probably was like a regular.
Right.
Yeah, at that time.
How did you get started in business? What sound you used to play before? Heritage?
It was Heritage, King Heritage. I played when I first came here, and then it was me and Mackie, and we started it. But we used to go to Peacock and stuff like that. My first date was at Peacock with Oneness. Big up Father Roy, what I'm saying? Them time that Junior was a look at you, I run around and I piss himself and all these things.
Junior still ride a bike them time. Oh my gosh.
But Father Roy, he was the big man on the sound that time. But we used to go every like once a month. We used to play down in Peacock, and then we do that, and then we did the radio station. And then, we do like little small house parties there, there and there. And then Mackie had to, he got some problems, so he had to lead the sound. So I was by myself. But then, the opportunity came up to play with King AP at that time. I don't remember the year. Jinx could probably remember the year. I don't
Jinx
remember that
is
shit.
encyclopedia.
It was probably about 2001. You know.
Okay.
Oh, that's the dub says. Yeah, 2001.
That's
oh.
why I says that.
See?
Yeah,
That's
the
the
dub.
walking encyclopedia.
Yeah. So so we linked up through that, and then after that was pretty much history. After that, yeah.
And were you a Clash sound then, or were you just a juggling sound?
Well, you know, at that time there really wasn't the delineation between Clash sound and juggling sound like how it is now. You know, back in those times, you know, sound business was a lot more competitive than it is now. So every sound was kind of, your goal was you wanted to have some kind of equipment so you could string up, and you wanted to have at least one or a few dub plates so that way if somebody call your name, you have some tune where you can defend it. So yeah, like in my mind, you know, I used to idolize like the Bass Odysseys and the Waggy T's and the King Eddie's and sounds like that, Jara and them sounded. So I wanted to be like those guys. And that's honestly what really made me decide to really be a sound man. Like I never really wanted to be a DJ. Like I always, you know, I saw, you know, sounds come out with the dub box, them and my pack out dub. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what fascinated me, especially like the opportunity to be able to like go to the studio and meet your favorite artist and you and in my par, like, you know what I'm saying? So I always kind of had it in my mind, like, okay, well, I want to be that kind of sound. It's like an all-purpose kind of sound, but you know, dub plates aren't cheap, and you know, we was broke. We was in college, you know what I'm saying? So you know, you just did what you could, but you know, so we just really just did the juggling thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, Clash was always something that in the back of my mind, it's like, you know, if you want to be a prominent sound system, you really got to try to have every base covered. So you know.
So you're from Trinidad?
Yeah, Tobago.
Tobago. Wow, I never met anybody from Tobago before.
I gotta delineate it for the people that are from TNT. You know.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And you was born in Guyana?
I was born in Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Okay,
Yeah.
You're
People from Guyana.
And you're same.
Same.
When did you first hear about King AP Sound?
When I moved here, what's that? 2014.
Okay.
2014.
Because I remember when I interviewed you, you said you kind of. No homo, you kind of idolize you guys.
Yeah.
So, and I remember specifically him saying that. So it wasn't a far stretch for him to join the sound. But what made you become a part of King AP?
What was it? I think we found a message the other day, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was like what, 3-4 years ago?
Like 4 years ago.
Yeah, during the pandemic, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Before that. Yeah.
They had played somewhere. No, we was at Sweet.
That's right.
And he played a Lila Ike dub. I forgot what
Lila
it was.
Ike, yeah, that.
But I'm like,
I'm jealous of that dub, by the way.
I made a message on Facebook. I'm like, make me a part of King AP so I could borrow that dub.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
Yeah,
really?
I put the little thinking faces underneath this comment. And then, we kind of like, you know, used to kind of talk off and on. And, you know, I talked to Randy about it, of course. And he was like, yeah, man, you know, A doing his thing, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it just kind of came to the point to where we was like, you know, we really need to just like make this happen when Randy and I really kind of started thinking, all right, 5-year plan, like what do we want? Where do we want the sound to go? You know, and we definitely was looking for like some younger people coming up that was kind of doing their thing to have the right like work ethic and, you know what I mean, just have that appreciation and love for the sound business the real way, you know. So I mean, it was a no-brainer, man. Like, I was happy he was down to do it.
Would be happy for him to be on this sound. Right?
Yeah, man. So, you know, give thanks for that still.
Now, you guys were one of the first people, at least homegrown folks, that started your own brand in Beer Vibes. What was the thought process behind Beer Vibes at the time?
Randy, you remember?
I remember, dude. I remember that. Well, I came up with the idea, and I came to Jinx's house at the time, and we was up there in the room.
That's right.
And we were just throwing some ideas about it. I was like, yo, nobody never did like a beer party, you know, all inclusive. You know, you drink all you want. At that time, I think we presented the idea to Alan.
That's right.
From Twin Towers and to what's the big man? True.
That's right.
At that time, but True couldn't do it because he had other stuff going on.
Right.
And then Alan also backed out because he had other stuff going on. So we end up trying to do it around Thanksgiving. That didn't work, so we had to push it back to January. And then everything came together, and it just flew perfectly.
Wow.
And after that, we was like, yo, we got a brand right here.
So
like, yo, might as well go
I remember you guys coming to Aquarium at the time.
That was the first.
That was the first one. Was at Aquarium.
He used to manage it then.
I used to manage it.
He was
then.
the one that gave us the date.
And Wiseman was like, "Who are these guys with?" And I'm like, "No, give them a chance." You know, and I've seen it blossom. What do you plan to do in terms of the evolution? Because we've seen so much people come into town now and doing, branded events.
That's such an interesting. It's
Because
so interesting.
it's funny because
Yeah.
we spent it's funny that we're doing an interview talking about this
Yeah.
because literally today we spent the whole day talking about.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I swear to God, you
Yeah.
could talk to Juggler and John Wayne.
Oh, wow.
We spent the whole day just thinking of ideas and rebranding the whole brand itself.
Right.
Right.
Coming up with new ideas of how to bring it to the younger market and stuff like that.
Reinvent it,
Reinvent it. So we got a lot of stuff in store for that.
Okay.
In January, I don't want to give out everything.
Gotcha.
Not
Gotcha.
January, February.
Yeah, absolutely.
We already got planned, but we got a lot.
Well,
of
I know you guys tried one in Florida. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
never did again. Was there a particular reason why you did?
It flopped.
Well, I know it flopped, but
Well, you know what? Really,
I ain't gonna try it again.
it did flop, but it rained out like that.
Rained out.
That day it rained.
Yeah, the sky was like
black all
Are you
day.
serious?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
all day,
Yeah, it was
all
pretty
day,
bad.
all day.
So
So
that's the reason why you never tried it again.
yeah, and
There's a lot of politics.
and politics in Florida,
too.
and that day was just a bad taste in the mouth as far as just doing beer vibes down there. So we never went back and tried it again. We would like to,
Right.
but right now, it's not really in the cards right now.
Gotcha. What's the direction of the sound now? Because nowadays everybody call themselves a sound.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have equipment, you call yourself a sound. So
Or a DJ.
or a DJ. So where do you see you guys going?
Well, for me, the way I really kind of see it is kind of like the same thing we've been doing since '97. Like we've always kind of had the mindset of trying to cover every base. So, we definitely want to do more promotion. And we see like with his team, he does a lot of promotion and stuff like that. So we're trying to, get more involved with that to try to tap into that up and coming market. So as far as the brand, that's what we want to do here. Like the branch that we have in Connecticut with Ace and Carlston, they do a lot of soca stuff up there. So we have a Juve series up there that's in the summer that's very successful. We have once a month parties there and stuff like that. So we really want to kind of mimic that same kind of vibe here, where besides beer vibes, we have at least, a couple more branded events like that we can kind of keep. Because really at the end of the day, like I think for most anybody that I would say that's coming up in as a DJ now, like once you actually establish a name and a brand for yourself, the best thing for you to do is to try to create some branded events that kind of help to keep you relevant.
Correct.
Because the thing is that, because we have beer vibes, like even if you never really heard of King AP or you never really heard us play, beer vibes is something that's out there like passively keeping our name in the conversation.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it helps. So when people ask like, well, man, like y'all been doing this so long, how is it that you have been able to stay relevant all this time? And it's like, because, when you have events that people, they see flyers and they idolize, and it's like, oh man, I was 15 and I seen that Beer Vibes flyer in the store and I always wanted to go, and now I'm 21, I could finally go. And that's a King AP thing or what have you, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff is really kind of where we want to go, and I would really recommend that to any DJ, any sound man coming up. You want to try to create some brands and don't just wait on a promoter to call you, kind of like control your own destiny. So we really want to kind of get into that for the future of the sound still.
Definitely.
Talk a little bit about Reggae-matic. Whose brainchild was that, and so on and so forth?
Well, Reggae-matic now, Reggae-matic is actually, we started doing that as a part of the Atlanta Carnival downtown. That was probably, I want to say 2001 is when we did the first one. We were on the radio then at Georgia Tech, so because
The show
of that,
was called Reggae-matic.
well, no, it used to be called Reggae Sound Splash
Sound
before.
Splash, and then we changed it.
Right. So what happened is when we were Reggae Sound Splash, we first were able to do the carnival, string up and play and stuff like that. So when we changed the name to Reggae-matic and we moved the show from Thursday to Saturday, we just basically changed the name of what we were doing inside the carnival too. So we kind of had that little corner in Carnival where we play music and stuff like that. And so that went on for a long time until we finally moved to the DeKalb Carnival, when the split happened. Not going to get into that on this show, but, we came to the east side with the community, and, once they kind of decided that, well, we really want to just keep the carnival itself, really more strictly soca, which we also won't get into. They gave us the option to go on the road. So that's where, Night Nurse, she was already kind of involved in some other bands. So really as far as the evolution of it from just being, us playing music in the carnival to actually going on the road with the costumes and the designs and like the whole, including reggae in a carnival band and that whole, how that synergy works. Definitely got to give her credit. It's her brainchild to actually take that brand and evolve it into what it is. Her, Charles C., and the rest of the team. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how that evolution started. And we've been on the road. Not counting the pandemic, that was the third time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
this will be not counting the pandemic. This is the third time.
Right. So it's been 3 years we've been on the road doing that. So, yeah.
One of the unique things about your sound is that you could play an MC for yourself. You can play an MC for yourself. Was that by design? Did you guys sit down and say we want to make sure that each one of us can do this?
Nah, it really wasn't.
Really?
I'm gonna tell you what happened is that when Randy joined the sound, Randy, it got to the point to where it was basically Randy and me, and I never used to talk at all. And
really?
Not really. You know what I'm saying? I used to always let somebody else do it. I was kind of shy, man. I didn't really want to be. I just wanted to play music. That's it. And I remember Randy was like, listen, man, like, I'm not going to be talking every time we play. He's like, I'm not doing it. Yeah, he's like, so you're going to have to, you got to figure this out.
Wow.
That's what he said. So I was like, all right, so I had to learn how to MC. And so, eventually with practice, you get better at it.
Wow.
And then, and then it got to the point to where we started to get so much dates that, I would have to play by myself sometimes, vice versa. Gotcha. So then it's like, okay, well, you got to learn how to kind of do it all. Right. So with practice, you get comfortable with it, and that's really how we all kind of learn. So now, when Randy and I were kind of looking at, okay, well, who we want to kind of bring on the sound, it just kind of became like a prerequisite. Know what, everybody that plays this sound, you need to kind of know how to MC. You need to definitely know how to mix multiple genres of music, and you should be able to do it by yourself if you have to. Right. It is what it is. That's just I guess the standard to know. You know what I mean? So.
No, hey, do you clash at all?
Nah, man.
So you're not in the clashing category.
You'll get him there, man.
You get him there. You don't seem like you want to get there.
I'm juggling him, thing that man.
Yeah,
I'm not with the.
That's really more me and Ace. That's really into that the sound clash, that vibe of things. So even that now is something that in the past few years, probably 2015. I want to say it was Mikey Montana that was like, yo, you got some nice songs, man. Why you never seriously consider doing a dubplate clash? And I was like, man, I don't know these singing songs. I don't know what them songs I really get.
Right.
He's like, nah, man, just try it. So we ended up doing the clash with him and the sound he was playing at the time, City Heat, and Danger Marcus' sound Disruption versus us. And I actually clashed that. I did that clash by myself, and I won. Oh. I kind of shocked myself. I didn't really think it was gonna really go like that, but it did. So from that, we was like, maybe we probably can do this too. So, but that was that was an area that we hadn't really delved into or tried to really corner or master. You know what I mean? So we've been lately trying to kind of do that too, just to kind of add it to the portfolio. So
one of the things I hear from my friends in New York call me and says, King AP. I said, yeah. So they're too nice for clashing.
Yeah.
That's the critics are saying, you guys are just nice guys.
Yeah.
You don't really have it. That
yeah, the killer instinct thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, none of us here really the arrogant type A.
Right. And you need that in order to be an effective class sound.
You do. So I mean, that's the thing. If we really, are to take it really to the next level, we probably want to find an MC or somebody that has that type of personality. But the thing about it, I always say to people when they mention it, it's in the meantime, if you find yourself in a situation where you have to defend it, what are you going to do? Say, well, you know what?
Sure.
Nah, I'm not gonna. Step out on the battlefield to do this because I don't have that kind of MC. It's nah, you're gonna just like how I had to learn how to MC to begin with. Yeah. I mean, it's just something that we just maybe it's a skill we just gotta try to develop and do it the best way we can. Because you look at people like Roddy Gun and you look at other people that may not necessarily have that that kind of personality, but they have a level of confidence. Right. So the thing is that however you are as your personality. You just got to sell it and just make the crowd just work with it.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So, until we find that kind of MC, I just that's what they're right now. You know what I mean? So we just try to make it work,
When it comes to voicing dub plates, is there a person that says, okay, we want to voice this, or is there a group discussion, or how does it work?
Man, I'm gonna honestly say it's probably mainly.
It's mainly.
Yeah.
It's like mainly 80% Jinx.
Yeah.
And if he's lost or something,
Right.
he'll send a message and says, "Yo, what you think about this?" Blah 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 and so forth. Like, yo, yeah. So yeah, that worked. That's what I was thinking of, and then go from there. But 80%. 85% of the
So the
creativity
rhythms and all that
goes. I'm probably responsible maybe for like 2 rhythms in
in the whole time.
the whole time. But
that's really-
that man's the mastermind behind most of the stuff.
That's like my thing, man. I kind of, I want I low key fantasize about it. Like, you know how that go, Rico. You probably, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just listen to some rhythm, or you're on YouTube just going through some songs and you hear a rhythm or something, and then it's like the music just comes to you.
It comes to you.
You know what I mean? And then,
I was you on my sound.
Yeah.
I cut 80% of the truth.
right.
So,
It's like you got to get it. It's in your head now.
yeah,
It's a disease, man. It's a sickness. I swear, but
Wow.
love it still,
Yeah. King AP, what's this? We're in 2022, 2030. You guys see yourself still playing the sound?
I think Randy will play music forever, yo.
Nah, man. That's the only reason why we got A. You know what I'm saying? So the progression of the sound will keep going.
Right.
The thing is that we can't sit here and really say, "Well, I'm gonna play sound forever." You know what I'm saying? That's why we create all these other brands, so we still can make money.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you just put all your eggs in one basket, who knows what may happen to you one day, and you can't DJ anymore.
True.
You know what I'm saying? God forbid, you break your leg or something like that, then you can't do anything.
True.
But guess what? You break your leg, guess what? You got Beer Vibes, you got Reggae Matic, you got all these other things. You promoting clashes. So you can sit back and just and just collect. And you have your team do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But nah, 20, I'm trying to collect.
Yeah.
It's better to do more, parties, Rico, and you collect more.
Right.
Because one party you could do Beer Vibes and then you go home with 10 grand or 20 grand, just for that date.
Correct.
And then you play out for the month. You might just go home
$1,000.
$1,000, that's it.
Yeah.
So you do the math of what makes sense.
It's a
You know what I'm
no-brainer.
saying? Especially if you have a brand, or if you're a DJ who actually is out there and you're popular. You know what I'm saying? You have to make brands to elevate who you are. You can't just sit there and say, okay, I'm a DJ and that's all I'm going to do. Especially if you're popular and your name is out there in the world. You know what I'm saying? As you can see all these other DJs, you see Platinum Kids, you see these guys, you see Private Ryan, you see Massive B, you see all these guys doing different things to promote themselves because you have to.
Yeah, you got to. That's the way you stay alive in this game,
Yeah, we see these old guys, we ain't gonna call them names. They 50, 60 years old, you know what I'm saying, still on stage. They have nothing. That's all they have is the sound.
Yeah,
nothing.
Once that's done, that's it.
And once that's done, that's it. They get sick, that's it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And you really can't do that. You got to do other things.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would say, just to kind of add to Randy's point that we really, are trying to, have that team of like up and coming people to kind of keep the brand going, and also, the brands that we create to kind of keep those going. And I think for myself, I think I'll probably always play music in some kind of way, shape, or form, but I probably wouldn't be standing up in Club XYZ every night.
Yeah.
In the next 10 years, I don't see myself doing that. I would love to have like some younger people like, yo, y'all go do that. You know what I mean? And then, if I want to hold this party or something, or if I feel like come on, play some early warm or something, I might come beat some song. Because even if you look at, say, Father Power, right, on Stone Love, even though he retired a long time, like from what I hear, you could still go to Weddy Weddy on a Wednesday. You go there early and Father Paul did beat some something. And what is he? He's in his 60s.
Right. Yeah, right, sure.
So that's the thing. But he's able to do that because he got his whole team of young selectors on Stone Love where he feel like it, he can go out there and play some music, whatever. But at the end of the day, Stone Love, that brand, is going to survive long after he passes. So, and that's the whole idea of a sound system is legacy.
You're correct.
You know what I mean? So, you just want to build a legacy, something that is bigger than you are individually or personally. You know what I mean? So with King AP, I feel like at this point now, I'm happy to say that the brand is bigger than anyone selected with upon the song. You know what I mean? The brand is just, it's out there to that degree. So we just want to keep that going, So
talk about the recent clash with you and King Eternity and so on and so forth.
Yeah, man. Now you see that clash now, Lord God. We lose the clash still. You know what I'm saying? I listened
to the clash. So.
Yeah, but the thing about that now is that when we got the chance to take the date, you know, of course, people were like, "Yo, are you crazy? You want Clash Eternity? I was chewing them up on Ray. But you know, for me, the reason why we accepted the date is because you know, if somebody pays the fee, like, you know, a sound is not really supposed to be afraid. That's number one. And number two, like, I really wanted to kind of like see, like, I wanted to test. You know what I'm saying? So that whole like, okay, we're gonna stand up and clash a sound of that caliber, 30-minute rounds. It's like, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, can we really do that? You know what I mean? So I think, you know, part of the reason why I feel like looking back at it now in hindsight that we lost is because there's so much that we didn't, or I'll say I didn't understand about clashing a sound one-on-one of that caliber and like the strength of the songs that we have.
Gotcha.
Because it's like in my mind, I'm like, okay, man, I really approached that clash like as if I was a small sound. Thinking that I need to play
yourself.
Yeah, like I have to play. We got to play every song we have. We have to play it first, and we have to beat them up before them get beat out.
Gotcha.
But it's like after going through the clash, and I'm looking at all the songs that we didn't play, stuff we skipped, and everything, and I'm like, yo, like really, and versus like how Eternity played, how Nolan played. I was like, you know, honestly, like it really, even though we lost, it really made me a lot more confident in the collection of music that we built up over all this time. Because I'm like, man, you know, whenever I even get to play this, whenever I touch that, or even certain songs that people was like, yo, you know, you could have played, and I'm like, that song.
So
like,
people know your those.
Yeah, so it's like certain songs that I thought that probably didn't really have certain value, like people did, and they're like, well, why would you play this at this time? And so that's the thing. It's like sometimes you got to go through that to really understand the power of like what you have. So that for me, that was like the real thing. I really wanted to kind of like see how the sound measured up. And even though we lost, I really feel like, you know what, I can't really look at King AP as like a small sound again in the dubplate category.
You're definitely not a small
sound.
I mean?
I ain't gonna say big sound, but we're there in the middle leagues now for sure. You know what I mean? So it's like,
because think about it, most of the songs Eternity played, you know what I'm saying, we had them because we was back there thinking like, damn, why we didn't play that?
Yeah.
Wow. And like, you know, all the songs he's getting forwards on, he's like, shit. It's like, yeah, we didn't play that. Yo, yeah, we took that out of the list.
Yeah, exactly. We should have played that.
We should have played that. He was like, oh, but you know, he made the songs breathe, and he gave a good approach to all the dubs he had. So, and he gave good entertainment with that. You know what I'm saying? His energy was up.
Yeah, we didn't really figure that out until the third round.
Right.
And by that time, you know what clashes momentum.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't enough to change the momentum of the round of how it was going.
Yeah, even though we won the third round, but it's all good.
Yeah. I feel like we did, but I understand the momentum is one of those things. But it's one of those things though. So but that's the thing about clashing is that every sound lose. Like I always tell people, I'm like, you know, the first time I heard of At Ease was back in '93, and Bass Odyssey was my favorite sound at that time. You couldn't tell me nothing. And At Ease mash up Bass Odyssey, Portmore, Jamaica. I mean, the man get killed wicked.
I remember that clash. I remember
that beating was like, I remember like, you know, being in high school, and my boy was like, you need to listen to this. And I heard the Bass Odyssey side too, and Bass Odyssey played good. It's just that At Ease played so much better than them. But you know, despite losing that terribly, you know what I'm saying? Bass Odyssey come back and beat them, I Boston, I beat them, I New York. So losing like that is a part of clashing. So you know, you can't be afraid to lose. You just got to learn and build. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm.
Hey, you pretty much the future, or one of the future of King AP. Is that a big burden? You consider it a burden, or do you consider it?
I think about clashing every day because I know I'm a part of. I just don't know when. I'm not against it. It's just the timing right now for me is. I'm trying to focus in.
But I'm not talking about clashing in particular. I'm just talking about carrying on the legacy.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Okay. That's why I joined, of course. I already knew what I signed up for before. Before I said
No, man, I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
No, I know he's ready, but the folks don't know he's ready. So you want to make them more comfortable because you know, in a sound you're gonna have people who will say, okay, they're gonna book King AP, they want Randy, and they want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to get the confident level up in the moments.
We're still learning each other's style and stuff. So I would say by 2023 we'll. By storm.
Yeah, people are kind of getting used to seeing us now. And a lot of times when we play, as long as we're not all booked separate places, you know, we try to support each other and, you know, we all work together. Like we talk and mix for each other and stuff. So I think people are getting more and more accustomed to it. It was the same exact thing when Randy joined. Because Randy used to play Heritage and it was like he was doing his thing, we were doing our thing, and people just got used to it. You know, it took time, a couple years, but then now it's like it's hard to even think about how it was before.
Yeah,
like
true.
I can't even really think about.
Yeah, it took a while for it to actually, blend in, because I used to play on Gal Farm at that time. It's probably like another year before Jinx even came on to play Gal Farm.
It was longer than that.
It was a while. Like, it was just me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
People were accustomed to you.
Right. You know what I'm saying? After a while, Jinx is like screeching, every Thursday, and then started to play, and then boom, the jugglers start putting both our faces on the fly.
That's what happened. I mean, that's really how that's how I got cool with Juggler, honestly, is because of, because I mean, I knew Jangles, but I didn't really know Juggler like that until after it was a result of, because Randy used to play at Gal Farm, and we was going together and stuff, that Juggler and I actually became friends. So yeah, it just takes time though. That kind of stuff, you have to really let it happen organically. You know what I mean?
True.
Right.
No, Jinx, you've been here, and Randy, you've been in Atlanta for a minute, and you've seen kind of like the evolution of sounds, of DJs. What do you think of the state of DJs and sounds in Atlanta today?
You want to take that one?
Well, sounds in Atlanta, I think, is a dying breed, bro. Because, everybody wants to be a DJ. And then the DJs are pretty much not into, we were talking about this the other day, they're just into,
DJing.
Just DJing.
Right.
They're not really into that whole sound culture itself.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And that is what's going to be lost.
But do they even know it? I mean,
some do,
we
some
might
don't.
be showing our age here, but
no, some do and some don't. Because we met some, youths who are really like into it, stuff like that. And some people are like, that's not really my thing. You know what I'm saying? But coming up, that was the culture.
Right.
As being a DJ, me growing up in New York, my fans came from high school.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your fans were in school. You know what I'm saying? Where you DJ at, all your school friends came to where you was at.
Facts.
And they find out you playing in the club. Like, you playing in the club?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They come through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now it's not like that.
Yeah, it's not like
your fans are from basically social media.
Yeah.
And you're creating that platform from social media. And sometimes you have some DJs who will have a huge platform on social media, but can't play worth shit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But social media, that's where it's at. That's where your fans are at. So they study that more than anything, rather than this, I ain't cutting how much for them? I'm cutting that. They really ain't studying that part of the whole culture itself.
Gotcha.
But they don't understand, like, both of those, that's where it goes together.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
the
saying?
real, the foundation of the thing. And the thing too is that, back in the day, because we had to buy records and look for records and find music, that would encourage you to join up with somebody, because it's like, if you want to start out now, like for example, like if I never moved here to where I didn't know anybody, so I didn't really have no choice but to really start from scratch, probably I would have found somebody in my neighborhood on the block who father had a sound or something like that, and probably would have started hanging around with them and joined up with them. And in the islands, it's still like that, because the culture is still alive there, because they don't really have a lot of clubs, especially in the country.
Correct.
And in place that you still need a sound system for going online and string up. So as a result, as a liquor youth, if you want to get into the business, you're probably going to join the sound and work on the back of the truck and then move up the ranks that kind of way. But now, in America, I'll say, you could just, all you gotta do is just get a laptop and you just download 100 gigs of music in Serato, and boom, you got the same songs I got.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So with that now, why do you really need to team up with anybody?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not a necessary thing to get into business. Like, you don't have to really put that much skin in the game to be a DJ now. And that's why, the prices that DJs get paid has gone down, and you talk about the whole culture of the thing. That's I don't want to say it's a problem, but it's just something that technology has just changed. You know what I'm saying? But to me, like, at the end of the day, talent is talent. It doesn't matter if there's 1,000 people that's doing it or 10 people that's doing it. Talent, the cream always rises to the top.
True.
As them say. You know what I mean? So, I think people that tend to like really be, true to the culture of it and just understand where it comes from and just kind of have that foundation, I find that they usually just make out better than the other people that just kind of rise and fall. Because we'll see DJs rise, and in a year you don't hear about them again, because they get bored with it, or they just get tired, or they just not getting on whatever it is, and it's done. But when you put that kind of effort into it, you're not gonna just give up.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? You just won't, because you have to have that personal investment to even start doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main difference between then versus now. But at the end of the day, I like the fact that I could just download songs rather than having to carry a bag of record boxes and all these things.
I used to be paying so much for overweight, man. I remember those days, man. So I love not having to do that anymore.
Yeah, so so I definitely don't want this, a young DJ watching us like, oh, these old dudes fighting against technology. And nah, man, trust me, I do IT. That's my day job. I love technology.
It's easy to get the computer, but at least learn the structure of DJing. Just don't get it and I want to play, and then learn it.
Yeah, you got to
learn how to early warm. Enjoy early warm. I still love it.
It's funny. A lot of DJs say they don't early warm anymore.
Man, I'll take an early warm booking over anything.
Yeah.
Early warm is me.
That's the set. That's where you came from, bro. Like that's how the whole party's set. Like how you don't like the early warm, bro? That's
you gotta set the pace.
I've had people tell me that there's no such thing as early warm anymore.
I disagree.
Totally disagree with
I really I think it's a difference of what you're DJing for and where you're partying. If it's a fete, I think a fete, like you need to come in. Once you come in, you're supposed to come into a little bit of energy.
Yeah, the vibes got
the vibes got to be on point. If it's just a regular dance, a green and white, white and white, those things have to build up because you're getting a different sort of people coming in of ages. So, you might somebody come in at 12 o'clock, feeling good, just want to get a drink and sit down, listen to good music.
Right.
Rather than a fete, they come in with their sneakers on and shorts.
They're ready to party.
They're ready to.
But even with that, when people say early warm, I think sometimes it doesn't always necessarily be slow music.
Slow music.
Right. It's just really playing songs that are not the top 10 songs. So even in soca parties, like I've been to soca parties, and in soca parties you don't hear it as much because a lot of them don't necessarily understand the art of it. But you might find one sometime when them find some old Marshall and some old Cass and some old songs that people don't really play anymore. But those songs are still hits.
Yeah.
So it's like you could play those songs instead of drink water and mind my business at 11:30 and still get the crowd going. Those songs are still high energy songs.
The early part of the party is really my personal favorite part.
Oh, definitely.
You know what you're going to hear from 2 to 3 or 2 to 4.
Exactly.
But a person who can hold my attention from 11 to 1, I rate that person.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And, that's the time to me as a DJ where you really get to show your creativity.
Correct.
I look like, if you just got here at 11:30, even if you don't like the song I'm playing right now, you're not gonna leave. You just got here.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So you know what? I'm gonna take a chance.
True.
And I'm gonna play this or play that and see how it works, or if it doesn't work and stuff like that. I'm gonna make those left turns in early warm to challenge your ears a little bit, just because at the end of the day you're more listening than you are like I just really can't wait to get to hear Skilly Them or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So that's your chance as a DJ to really experiment with the music and really just dig deep and show your musical knowledge and entertain people in that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
because like you said, this piggyback what you said, like early warm doesn't always have to be your Sanchez, them, your Wendy Wonders. It could be a whole different set of music. I've been to a dance one time when a DJ actually early warm what was brand spanking new at 12 o'clock.
Which is not happening anymore either.
And I was like, wow. And people were just there nodding their heads like, I was like, yo, this rhythm just came out.
Yeah.
And he's bouncing it. And people just, having a good time. But the flow of how he did it was like perfect.
It made sense.
It made sense. You see what I'm saying?
But it's not top 10 yet.
It's not top 10 yet. This is brand new. You know what I'm saying? And it was just perfect. And he, it's early warm. And people just, get you listening in good, in for some new stuff. Right. That's not really in now, but it's upcoming.
Right.
And that was totally different. You see what I'm saying? And I kind of rated it. I forgot who it was. But it was excellent. I was like, wow, early warm doesn't always have to be, the Sanchez them. It can be, but it could be some different set of music.
You can mix those in.
You can mix those in between. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Talk about radio. Would you guys ever get back into radio? Because I think it's kind of like a dying breed here in Atlanta. And you guys I would call you guys pioneers of radio here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, for us right now, the main thing is the time. It's just difficult to really commit the time, between the work schedule and kids and then all the dates that we have. You know what I mean? It's hard to really find the time to do it. But that's something I think for myself personally, as I step back from, going into quote unquote retirement, you know what I'm saying? I probably would at that point probably do a weekly radio show or something like that just to kind of keep the skills up. You know what I mean? So
not to mention, I think a lot of when you look at reggae not being played in the parties here much anymore, I think you really attribute that to the fact that radio is not as prevalent here.
Yeah, radio plays a big part of getting the music out to the people. If there's no radio, it's like half of the time people not really gonna know what's new.
That's true.
Compared to down in the Caribbean, it's totally different.
Yeah,
you're hearing that like
all the time.
All the time.
You drive to work.
You drive to work. You're hearing the new songs. Here, it's not really like that.
So. I think it's needed though. We need that.
It's needed. Definitely. I mean, I could see it because I get a lot of people. I mean, I still do my radio show. Obviously, it's online, but people do tune in and say, "Okay, I never knew that song existed." The song would be like a year old, and they would know.
Yeah, and the thing is that that's the thing about radio that's nice is that it gives you an outlet to play music that when you're in a club, a lot of times, like you said, once you get past like 2:00, it's no longer about necessarily what you'd like to play. It's kind of like what you have to play. Yeah, because now it's like, okay, this is the prime time of the dance. Like this guy just got off and. Nobody's played any hip hop or soca in 2 hours. I need to play this. Versus when you're on the radio, you get to decide. Well, you know what? These songs just came out. I'm gonna feature these songs.
Correct.
Because people are just listening versus we're trying to party. So there's like you have to use the music to give people that. You know what I'm saying? So radio gives you that freedom to really like explore music and kind of put music out there and stuff that parties don't.
We have a radio station, right?
You do, yes.
Yes, we do, but we definitely do not.
Shouts to the old Fresh Station family.
Fresh Station, man.
That's what I was trying to get to.
So if we did it, we probably would.
It'll be back on Fresh.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Rise that back up.
But Fresh right now is more. We're trying to use Fresh into promoting more parties.
Yes.
So it's still there, but we need to get back on that platform and just reinvent the whole Fresh Station. Hopefully 2023 we can actually partner with Lotus and really sit down and try to reinvent that.
Find a direction.
Find a direction for that whole thing.
So you got Beer Vibes that you're reinventing. You got Fresh Station you're reinventing. Is there an ideal opponent for King Apocalypse Sound in terms of the clash?
Oh, man, opponents. Honestly, I get asked this question all the time. Like, yo, which song you want to kill? Like, honestly, I wouldn't say that I see a sound out that I'm like, yes, but I want to murder them. Like, to me, like, it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want the sound to just be active. Like, I'd like to see us do like a clash or two every year and win most of them. That's all. It don't matter who we clash. I just want to just kind of have that. I just want people to be like, yeah, King AP, that song there, bad song, the man them have some tune and see the man them war in New York or whatever it is, and the man them, that's it. That's really what I'm looking for. I just want to, when you talk about Atlanta and you talk about clash culture in America or whatever, I just want our name to be in the conversation, like how, you have the Innocents and you have the King Shines and the Blunt Posses and you have those sounds, you know what I mean? Like, just be in the conversation. Because the thing about clashing is that even when you quote unquote get to the top, like, it's really just a matter of just being active. You know what I'm saying? It's really what have
it's always going to be somebody that want to take you.
It's always going to be somebody. Exactly.
So
it's not even. It's just really just being out there and just doing it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, once you have the song, then whoever across the bar and cut the check.
Yeah, I'll say, bring your money.
Yeah, that's it.
I kind of think the sound clash. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's kind of like a dying breed.
Oh yeah, definitely is.
Oh yeah. That's because we talked about this before. That's because of in Atlanta. Yes, I have to say, because for you to be a top sound or top select or whatever, you have to. Back in the days, you had to clash. You had to defend yourself. You had to be in that arena just a little bit. Dabble. What I'm saying, in that arena, because they both go in hand, like dancehall and clashing. That's how it went.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I said this, before, because we have another clash coming up with some younger.
With King AP's clashing?
No.
We're
promoting a clash.
We're promoting a clash with
upcoming DJs.
With some upcoming DJs. Yeah, some of them.
Some of them are established, but
Yeah. But I feel like if you are the cream of the crop, the top of the top, like, you got to throw your hat in the arena 1 or 2 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way it's going to be relevant. Because that's how, back then it was, New York was Addie's, LP, Spectrum, Afrique, and all, you know what I'm saying? Those were the top juggling sounds, but 1 or 2 times they had to clash. That's the way
we
it
had
is.
to clash.
Yeah.
We didn't want to.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, that's the way it went. You see what I'm saying? But if they're not doing that, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna fade away, because you got these old people who don't want to let go of
Yeah.
the culture,
Yeah.
these guys are gonna stay in till they croak over.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm 60 years old. We still have a big matter on there, so
Yeah.
we still can't juggle song. No, you can't. Take a break. Hire, you know what I'm saying? You're 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? Your next selector is 45.
Right.
Get a new you on the sound. The sound, you're still cutting. Why not? You don't have to stand around the sound and juggle, you know, a clash all the time. Bring some new energy. But if there's nobody there to do that, these guys will stand around the sound forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is that, you know, the thing is that the younger market, how Clash is set up now, the music that's played and stuff, it doesn't really appeal to them.
Sure.
Because if you think
Yeah.
about it, I always say this all the time, like, you know, when we was young, you know, back in them times and stuff like that, like all of the songs that you heard was on the hottest rhythms. You know what I'm saying? So if Showtime rhythm came out today, next week in the Clash, every song
Every
that
song
about 50
playing,
songs
yeah.
on
Yep.
Showtime
Showtime,
rhythm,
yep.
all the hot
Yep.
song them. So it was like what
Yep.
was on
Yep.
the cutting edge of dancehall on some new song that ain't coming out on 45 where you could actually buy it as a regular DJ for another month. Like that's, I remember I used to listen to sound clashes to hear new music. Because that used to be the cutting edge. You're going to hear the latest Killer, the latest Beanie Man them, the latest Sizzler them. If it's Jaro, you already know it's going to be Sizzler, Anthony B. Lucian, or whatever is brand new. If it's Bass Odyssey, the newest Butcher them.
Yep.
If
Right.
it's Addies, you know, it's going to be pretty much everything, but especially Bounty.
Especially Bounty.
You know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. So you knew, like, okay, I'm listening to this Clash. I'm going to hear at least 3 or 4 of these songs. And then, you know, when you see the 45 come out, oh, man, I heard that 2 months ago and this Clash is out.
It's
And you
out,
see what
yeah.
the 45 sound like. But now, you know, the it's more about older music and who have the classic songs than newer music per se, because the crowd that primarily makes up these clashes is older people.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is, like Randy was saying, is that the young people now that's popping in the juggling world, they don't clash. So because they're not clashing, they're not bringing their fans with them. So then who's left is just the older people.
Right.
So the whole idea, I think, if you really want Clash to survive, is you got to get younger people. You got to get the younger DJs to do it, and they got to bring their fans with them. And
Right.
the Clash is
But
gonna
but
be catered to them.
that's like a double-edged sword, because the songs that are, or the dub plates that wins in clashes are old songs.
Well, see, that's
that
the
they
thing.
don't have.
Well, that's the thing. That's the, you know, and that is the.
Some of them probably don't even know
Yeah.
the format
Don't even
of
yeah.
clashing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that
exactly.
that format also needs to change.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it has
It
to.
doesn't
learn
always
to.
have to be the
oldest,
best,
dustiest song,
dustiest
yeah.
songs
True,
and tune
true.
for
Yeah.
tune for tune.
It never
True.
used to be like that back in the day. I
Yeah.
remember
No.
Tune
Yeah.
for Tune where
It
they was playing new music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I play a new song until your new song box
But
done.
as you can see, Iris and Chin tried to change it, and people didn't go for it.
But see, the thing is Irish and Chin, you know, the core market that supports them is still
And
those
still
same
the-
people.
yeah, the-
They're
yeah,
in
all the-
their
yeah.
late
True.
30s, early
Like
40s. They don't
40s, yeah.
Facts.
They were trying to get younger people in it. But if you look at like some of the other clashes, like the Red Bull Clash, Boom Clash, and those kind of clashes, you know, older people might look at, Joe Clash that. But, you know, at the end of the day, they get a good turnout. But those clashes are geared towards the entertainment of younger people. So to me, Clash has to evolve if it's going to survive.
Sure.
You can still have that lane of traditional Clash, but then you also can't fight against that lane
The
of
microwave clashes.
the microwave
Like,
clashes.
yeah. Yeah,
Where
yeah.
the 10 minutes, you can only play hip hop, or you got to pick 5 soca songs or whatever it is.
But
You
that's
can't
the
fight that.
But that's the energy,
That's the energy.
energy of, you know, you can't wrong it. You know
can't
what I'm
wrong
saying?
it. You
But
can't
at the end
wrong
of the day, it's still Clash.
It's still Clash.
You know what I'm saying? It's still competitive.
It's still competitive.
So I wouldn't really fight against nothing like that.
Nah,
you know
you
what I'm saying?
can't.
It's still promoting the culture.
It is, but people do. It's just like how in the 80s, you know, it used to be live artists on sound system, and that was what Clash was. This artist go on the sound and he DJ, you know, and then the other guy goes and he DJs, whatever. But once it moved from that into the dub play thing, I'm sure there was probably people from the 80s that was like, yo,
we're
that
fighting,
Clash thing
yeah.
a joke thing, man.
Yeah.
You're not a live DJ, Ponson. What is?
Yeah.
But, you know, that evolution happened. So we
Correct.
have to let the evolution
Correct.
continue. Otherwise, it's going to die. You know what I'm saying?
What do you want your partner words to be? You know, what do you want folks to know about you on King AP Sound?
Well, to know me, Randy Five, people say I'm mean. I'm grind. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, girls always kind of like, man, you over here sitting, you mean? I'm like, no.
He's a New Yorker, man.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
That's just the
Typical
energy.
New Yorker.
Smile,
Yeah,
smile,
to
unless
smile
it's a
about
reason.
Yeah, smile up everybody, yo.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. But just here just to promote, what we do. I just want to continue King AP as the brand itself, and continue the brand and these other brands that we're doing, and just go forward with that. Like my name don't need to be out there, all the time. You know what I'm saying? I just want the brand itself to mainly be out there, and then we still keep going and make it money. That's that's the end of the day. You want to pass down something to somebody else, or maybe your kids one day, whatever, stuff like that. Because you don't want this to be, a dying breed. And, you don't want, like I said, be 70 years old on this croak over and bury me with my dubs then. And nothing else happens after that. Right. But you want the brand to continue, and evolve itself. Gotcha. And keep going.
Gotcha. A?
Me, I'm just a breath of fresh air, I guess you could say. Just being myself, trying to bring new ideas, fresh ideas, and just learning. I'm in the learning phase. I'm in college. I'm LeBron when he went to Miami. This is me right now. I'm in college right now. I'm learning. So that's all
you guys ever argue at all?
Oh yeah,
we argue all the time, man.
Okay, healthy argument.
Yeah, it's healthy arguments.
Yeah, it's good to argue because you get good ideas out, and saying to prove your point across. And sometimes somebody may not see it your way. Saying and like, okay, yeah, that was right. You might be stubborn like me and like, nah, bro, you wrong.
I think you got the final word.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on what these guys are saying. At the end of the day, we're just really thankful that King AP has stayed relevant this long. Like sometimes when I really think about it, or even sometimes like when I was like stand back and I listen to Randy, or even I got to say big up to Ace, big up Carlston, the guys in Hartford, Connecticut. When I look at like what they're doing, especially when I go up there, because they kind of have, they do these parties with thousands of people, and I see the big old King AP banners hanging and stuff, and I'm just like, man, like, look at how far this thing reached.
Right.
From when we was in a college dorm, just like dreaming about doing this or doing that. So for me, it's just really like amazing to see that kind of progress, and I just want to keep it going, as long as possible. Long after I'm done with music or my past I'm gone, I just wanted to just keep going. And it's like legacy. I think something as black people, like, we don't really do enough legacy building. True. So to me, it's not just about, what we have for us right now. It's like a legacy, so that way somebody that's interested, that has a love for this culture, could say, you know what, I want to be a part of this organization and take it into the future, wherever that leads. You know what I mean? So it's just to lay that groundwork and that foundation and keep building on it, so that way that can happen. So for me, that's what King AP is all about, man. It's just legacy and just the love of the music. That's what keeps us going. So
before you go, your favorite King AP dub, if you had to pick one favorite.
Oh God,
Lil Ike on the Portmore rhythm.
That will.
That's your that, and of course the Tassanchin.
It's the Lil Ike.
Yeah,
that Lil Ike is different. That Lil Ike is different.
Oh my God, Jake,
sorry.
Oh man, that's a tough question, man, because a lot of those dubs, they do start out as ideas in my head.
Right,
so it's
right.
Like, oh man, right now,
yes.
Oh, what's my favorite dub?
He gonna give you like 10.
I'm really trying to pick one. I don't want to drag it out. But yeah, like the Leela's, man, like those are definitely my favorite, like recent, because she does such a good job.
She's an excellent artist.
Excellent artist. Excellent. I got to big her up the whole team anyway, But honestly, yeah, it's gonna be between this Leela Ike that we have called Wanted. That one is on the
is it a Gregory?
Nah, it's on the
well, it's the original is on the Gregory.
Yeah.
We voiced it on the Police and Thieves, Junior Mervyn.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man, that song,
Oh, King AP, he wanted.
Yeah. You know the rhythm.
Yeah.
That between that and then there's a massacre that we recently got, King and the Earth. Okay. Yeah, I just it's not because I just like what he's saying in that song. He's really just talking about like just the same thing, like black pride, legacy, just trying to like break the chains of slavery. He's just saying some real positive stuff.
Gotcha.
And it really wasn't until I got the dub, I mixed the song down, and I said, yo, like this song is a powerful tune.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like I just play that song when I'm riding around just to kind of remember, cause all we're in a sufferation, we're in Babylon as black people, and when I listen to that song, it kind of reminds me that we still kings out here. You know what I mean? All while going in the system. So those two right now are my two favorites today. Next week, I might tell you something else. But right now, I that's what I did, you know?
Well, let me just tell you a personal story, you know, from I would say maybe middle 90s, 99, 2000. King AP has been my favorite sound.
Respect.
You sound like John Wayne.
Yeah. John would always say that.
John Wayne always say that.
He
Yeah.
always say that.
Just the way you guys voice tunes, it kind of remind me how I voice tunes.
Yeah.
The singing tunes that you voice, you know, the rhythms that you put them on. You know, it really just it takes thought. You just don't go into a studio and voice a tune because the artist is there.
Yeah.
You can see that you put your thought into it, the rhythm that you put it on. You know, some of them have harmony, which is very rare that you find people voice dubs with harmony. But I insist on voicing dubs with harmony. And so those little things that people don't really pick up on, when I listen to King AP, I hear those things.
Right.
And it's a sound that I have the utmost respect for. So.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
singers, man. I mean, when it comes to singers, I think with natural vibes, you know, saying y'all box is crazy with singers. It's the same thing.
Because I'm not much into DJs dubs, so they always kill me. Oh, you're gonna voice a singer. Fat Boy voices the DJs.
When we started really doing the clashing, I had to really kind of switch. And get more DJs, but people like, why you got all of these? But you you only got 2 Elephant Man, but you got 20 Luciano.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's me.
Yeah, I'm like, man, because
they last longer.
Yeah, it lasts longer.
Last longer, man.
And at the end of the day, like that's the kind of music that resonates with me. Like you said, it's really like art.
Yeah.
And to me, like especially with the dub plate thing now, like you really want to have it where when you play your music, it's really an expression of like.
Correct.
Who you are, the vibe you have, you know what I mean? So when I'm out here a certain song, you're supposed to be like, yo, that sound like King AP.
And wants to voice it.
Yes.
Right.
Give that that energy where a man say, yeah, man, I forgot to voice that tune.
Yeah, we get copied a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because of that. Yeah, but it's that kind of vibe. That's what we kind of go for with that. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, hopefully the younger youths can really, cherish, reggae music itself. And hopefully, reggae music really doesn't die. Hopefully,
I mean, it's not going to die.
It's not going to die,
they just
but
don't play it.
They just don't play it.
Don't play it.
It will.
But
over here.
It's like yes. I mean, you got to say over here because like when I go back to like Tobago and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's totally there. Reggae music. Yeah, reggae music. They still beat. But as far as reggae here in the States,
in the States,
no, it's not. It's more of the old stuff rather than the new stuff.
And the funny thing is that it used to always cycle. Remember, like
Oh yeah, it used to. Yeah. It's a LL.
Revival. It's like Chronic Sunday Bus. I feel like it just hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened.
Like it hasn't
Yeah.
But in Africa, like I broadcast in Africa, in Gambia particularly, and they're still huge on the reggae there.
Yeah,
and Anthony B and those guys and Chesedek and those guys are huge stars. And you wouldn't believe it from the reception over here.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're huge stars.
World's a big place. I saw the guy from Born Jamaicans. I want to say it was Edley Shine. Maybe it was
Edley Shine. Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing an interview and he was saying how he's like, I haven't performed in Jamaica in so long, but he goes to a lot of the Latin countries. And he's like a mega superstar there. And he's like, I make a living off of this. So it just goes to show you that, reggae music is such a huge worldwide thing. And the world is a big place, man. Yeah. So, that, what we do in the States is, like Randy said, it is different with reggae music. But at the end of the day, like in other places in the world, reggae music's still big. So
it's supreme.
It's supreme. Yeah, man. Nothing like it.
Well, you know what? We can talk all day about this stuff.
We really could. We really could still.
But I want to let you guys know I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, man. Thanks
I appreciate you accepting the interview. And on that note, this has been another edition of Take 5. We'll catch you next time.
Listen, everybody.